right now in the background. Give me a little motivation.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the tropics, and for some of us, it fucking sucks because it is cold. However, before I get into what's going on today, just let me dedicate this show to the good folks at Savage Sailor Apparel. Check them out. Great Navy veteran people doing some really cool t-shirts designs. I am wearing one right now. They are cruise veterans. They're six-timers like us out of Oklahoma. Seth and Crystal. I cannot say enough good things about these people. So if you are a Navy enthusiast, if you're a veteran, or if you just want to support our veterans or your veterans, not our veterans because they're U.S., I'm Canadian. However, support all veterans because they've put their life on the line for us. Check them out. There's some really, really cool designs. They've just come out with a new Midnight Submarine one, which is badass. And I can't say enough good things about these people and their stuff. So other than that, we are back. I have Alex, I have Mongo, I have Jason, I have Jeff. We are going to skip our normal ring introductions this week because there is a lot on our plate. Gentlemen, the tans are fading. The hangovers are fading. Even the cruise crud is fading as everybody is sort of back at it. I came home to snow, which fucking sucked. Cannot say that enough. Alex, you came home to a very happy Sunday.
I did. Go
You
Birds.
did. Go Boyds. And honestly, 98%. I think there was literally only 2 people on that boat that were not Go Birds the entire time. Good friend Chris and Gina down there in Kansas were probably the only Chiefs fans on that boat. And you know what? The Chiefs fans got to win because they did win the newlywed game, defeating 2 other cruise couples as well as Lexi and Big Bill. So at least they got something for the week. They got their trophy.
And he doesn't piss and sinks.
That was amazing.
You know what? Let's dive into it, guys. I'm going to ask you real quick. How do you, this is a brand new port for us. I loved it. I thought this was the best port they had put us in yet, and that's saying a lot because I really enjoyed our time in Nassau. What did you guys think? Let's just go with Alex.
I think it was the best port day ever. There was just no hassle. You know, I didn't have to go get a cab to go see a beach. I didn't have to. I mean, if I wanted to see a beach, I guess I did. But like, we'll swim up our lazy river. Oh my gosh, what else do you need? So, I think best port day ever for sure.
Mongo?
I mean, I think it's the best port too. I know I feel like recency bias, but I feel like I've done everything in the Bahamas that I can do because Walking Dead cruise, the Jericho cruise we did the Bahamas, Mexico was cool. I like the change of ports. But yeah, this one was great. Just second you're off the boat, within walking distance, you already had all the fun stuff. You don't have to take a taxi or a shuttle. So convenience-wise, 100% win there too.
Yep. And we was walked right there. Jeff, what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think this was definitely one of the better ports. Like I said, the convenience was awesome. I mean, you walked, 1,000, 1,500 feet, and you could go to an area where there was a pool, there was food, there was, drinks of all types, that type of stuff. I mean, we walked right up and got a little cabana right there by the entrance to the lazy river, and right there at the pool and the hammocks that were in the water. So, I mean, it was great for us. And then you had servers coming over and would get your drinks. So, I mean, yeah, it was great. You didn't have to stray far. You didn't have to spend a ton of money to have a good time and relax and enjoy some of the tropic, even though it wasn't, like Alex said, with the beach setting. But if you wanted some sand in the layout, you could at least go to the beach areas. So that was nice. And then they had the splash pad or whatever. So, I mean, I definitely think this was one of the top-notch ones for convenience and for having stuff right there.
All right, now let's see if Jason's going to go full New York and shit all over this port. Just to be controversial, buddy. What are you talking about?
No, agree with everybody. My wife agrees. Best port we've been to. Super cool, super chill. You didn't have to spend any money if you didn't want to. The lazy river was free. The pool was free. They had a little surfing area, a little surfing machine. I don't know what you call it, but we saw a few of the wrestlers like Daniel Garcia and Nick Wayne. Yeah. Just kind of chilling out and, trying that, and wrestlers walking around. Big Bill we saw. So just best port. I would definitely go back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I checked out the restaurant, but I mean, Jeff was saying he walked up, got a cabana. We walked up, Alex and Jason, you guys were sitting with us. We were only 10 feet away, and there was a bar in between us and them.
Yep.
So, I mean, it was beautiful. I think whoever designed this port really has nailed what a cruise ship needs. We don't need to necessarily go everywhere. We seem to have lost Alex. I'm guessing his laptop dropped out. That's okay. He'll be back, I am sure. It was honestly, we had seen a video of another travel vlog. We shared that with the group. I think Gemma found it and shared it with us, and then we shared it with you guys, and everybody was like, fuck the excursions.
We were all on the same page. Yeah, we were all on the same page with that. Now, I will say this. I would love to get that option to go to Great Stirrup Cay again once, since we didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
Because I think that could be very similar to this, but a little better, because then all our stuff from the ship transfers over as far as the buffet and your drinks. If you want to do a la carte, it's the same thing. So I would really like to try that once, because we will actually get to swim in the ocean and do some of that right there at their island. So I would love to do that one time.
I agree. Let's do that for 7. I agree.
Yeah, I
awesome.
think that's good. Every year rumors start real early. There were a persistent rumor that we might not be sailing out of Miami next time. Personally, I don't care. Just put me on the boat. I like the idea of going back to Great Stirrup Cay, and as I said, doing the open mic. I'm not sure the seas were rough. I think there was another boat there. They're like, no, we don't put these people next to other people. That's no. They do not play well with others.
Those are the back of the bus people.
Yeah, it's like that lost tribe out in some island. I think it's in the Indian Ocean. Like, nobody, just don't go to the island. Don't go to the island. You don't want anything to do with these folks. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic, and yeah, like the talent was all right there, and someone was. I had a hard time recognizing Dutch, of all people. There's something about the way he carries himself when he is not in the whites in his ring gear. It's like it just. I saw him a few times, and it just okay. It's almost like Superman. You put the glasses on, you take the glasses off, and it's just the way he carries himself outside of his ring gear. It just got to me every time. I saw him a few times.
Kevin Owens is like that outside of his it's like that same thing. I remember I saw Kevin Owens 3 or 4 times. It took me a second to realize it's Kevin Owens, because he wasn't wearing the shorts, he wasn't wearing the shirt like that. It's like subtle changes, and they just become average looking guys. You're like, oh shit, that's so and so.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the cool things. I know there's a few people are saying, "Oh yeah, no, I saw Liger all the time without his mask on." It's like, are you sure it wasn't Sonny Ono? I probably did. I wouldn't have recognized him to save my life, because I don't think I've ever seen a photo of Liger without his mask on. I'm not the guy that's like, I want to know what they look like with their mask on, so I don't hunt it down. I'm sure they exist.
Right.
I mean, I would be happier if I didn't know what Rey Mysterio or Juventud or Psychosis looked like, but Eric Bischoff fucked that up for everybody in the late 90s. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I saw Penta last year and I recognized his tattoo, but I'm like, I'm not saying shit. He doesn't have his mask on.
Nope. I saw him in the pool.
Yeah. Uno, the year he was on, I saw him everywhere, and only because of his voice. And it's like, I just try to pretend like, okay, that's what he looks like. But yeah, it's weird. Serpentico, because he's John Cruz, so you know what he looks like.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what he looks like. I might have shared an elevator, chatted him up everywhere, and I would not know.
Well, and Serpentico was just on Dynamite. Yeah. Well, and Serpentico is just on Dynamite or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not.
John
So
Cruz.
I just started. I'm like 10 minutes into this week's Dynamite. I'm a little behind still. I had a lot of stuff to catch up on. So I have not. I have not done my due diligence on catching up. I'm doing really well avoiding spoilers. But while we're talking about running around the boat and talking to folks, do you guys have a favorite? I call it elevator roulette because you just never know who's behind the door. Do you have a favorite elevator roulette or encounter from this cruise that you ran into? Let's start with Jason. He's been quiet for a few minutes. I'm a little worried about him.
No, not particularly. No, not this one.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shivani. And now I know how Conrad feels. I'm like, okay. What about you, Jeff?
Actually a few, but one of those things, it's such a whirlwind right now that hard to recall some of them because I know I saw a ton of different ones. I mean, I had to do the old back out of the elevator thing at times because it was like, oh, hey, shit, all right. But nothing really that's this time comes to mind, but I do remember seeing, like always, quite a bit of the talent. But honestly, a lot of the elevators were full, so I didn't really get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes those stairs just don't do it for you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the elevators either. Just chatting people up. I know you guys had some outrunners encounters. Mongo, what do you think? You got any cool encounters? I mean, Cam is a magnet for cool encounters on that ship.
I only had one, and it was comical. It was heading up to, I think it was one of the last nights. We were heading up to deck 12 from the spelling bee. Came back around. I realized I had to go downstairs, go back to the elevator. All of a sudden opens up. Tara Zapp's in there in full makeup. Just was not expecting her when it opens. So it opens up, and there's Tara. I'm like, oh, hey, I'll wait. Same kind of thing, though, because it was a full elevator, too. But I was like, oh, I was not expecting. I did the Will Ospreay, the match when he was like, because he got scared of her. That's how I felt with the elevator. I was just not expecting her in full paint because I saw her without paint the entire cruise everywhere.
A lot in the beginning. I saw her a lot in the beginning without her makeup.
I saw her in makeup catching some rays up on 13 a couple of times. So getting a message from Alex. He's just rebooting his computer. He will be back. My coolest personal encounter was Sarah and I had hopped on an elevator and I think we were coming up from the casino or something, somewhere low, maybe deck 7. And then on the very next floor, in walks this lady cosplaying Tony Storm, and then I realized she's not cosplaying Tony Storm because that's Juice Robinson with her. And so Sarah, being Sarah, makes friends. I am not allowed to say that with a pregnant pause because she gets mad at me for it. But she started chatting her up and just talking to Tony. How's it going? Are you enjoying the cruise? And Tony's like, I fucking love the food. The food here is fucking amazing. And that's all we talked about up until we got off on 13 was Tony and Juice were just gushing about the food. And that was cool because it was just the 4 of us in the elevator. Nice. Other than that, my little buddy Spencer, holy shit, this kid.
He's a magnet too.
Oh, he's, you know what? And that magnet is going to turn into a different kind of magnet in 5-6 more years.
Oh, yeah.
Which, yeah. But I mean, he had the 6-man. There was a 6-man lady in the merch shop that was genuinely distraught that she was not going to get to chat with Spencer anymore because it was the last day. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh no, there's a few people I've heard about this kid all over the boat when I'm talking to my coworkers. And I'm like, there's a support meeting tomorrow at 3 on the pool deck. But on the last night, we had him bellied up against the rail. Alex and Jill had kept a nice little spot for a couple of the younger kids that were there, and he was standing on the guardrail, his chin right over there. And the outrunners, now big old Turbo was getting his ass whooped in that match. And as he rolled out, because we were sitting on that corner by the aisleway, and he rolled out and he had just finished selling, and Spencer yells at the top of his lungs, "Are you okay?" And you can see Turbo had a little chuckle. He reached over and he ruffled the kid's head, which he hates, and goes, "Yeah, buddy," which is hysterical because Spencer asks a lot of questions and we call it the "Yeah, buddy" game. So he goes, "Hey, Matt." "Yeah, buddy." Ask question, keeps answer. Hey, Matt. Yeah, buddy.
buddy.
And so the fact that he got a yeah, buddy back killed me. But then later on in the atrium, they were handing out the guitars, the inflatable guitars that the ladies had brought, and they offer one to the Outrunners. Is, oh, hey, yeah, no, I'm okay, buddy. Good to see you. Do you want a picture? And so the Outrunners and Truth's wife took off, and Sarah in her boot is like, that's my kid. I need to be with the key. So she hobbles after them. Spencer hates being picked up. Hates it with a passion. Yeah. However, when the Outrunners picked him up for the photo, boy, howdy, did he have a change of tune. He was just the happiest kid ever. You know, he got to meet Rich Ward and Doug Busby and Saoirse from Guardians of the Galaxy Night 1. And, you know, for anybody out there that's been following it, he's a huge Rich Ward fan. We had Rich was kind enough to respond to me and send a video telling Spencer that he was not staying in Vancouver for a week. He was coming with us. So that was cool. So Spencer's lit up. And I'm like, cool, I fucking nailed this. It's night 1. And my 16-year-old daughter is a huge fan of Sonny Kiss. I'm like, I'm sure you'll see Sonny. We got mutual friends with Sonny. We'll track her down. No, she ran into Sonny before we left port. So they're both gushing and crying. Oh my God. And so I'm like, well, shit. I thought I had at least 3 days worth of work to make these things happen.
Nope. Knocked them off quick.
Yeah, they just knocked him out quick, and everybody involved was so cool. Like, I cannot say enough. Like, most of the talent is so fucking cool on the boat. There's obviously exceptions. You know, our drunk asses don't necessarily know what is a good time and what's not. I've fucked that up before, and sometimes the talent's just dicks. But I mean, for a majority of the time, the talent is just fucking rad. Any highlights from any other cruises for you guys on talent you've run into? Just because I don't think most people get it. It's like, oh, it's just but most people just don't fucking get it. How cool the talent can be. Any highlights? Jason, I get worried that your screen's frozen, brother. You're just sitting there so stoic.
No, I mean, you know, the best part for me about the cruise is just seeing everybody, all the talent, just walking around, having a good time, being regular people, you know, going to the shows or going to karaoke or going to comedy or at the buffet. And everybody's super cool, you know. Just I can't say any negative interactions with any of the talent. I mean, everybody's kind of on vacation mode, so they're all having a good time. And to me, that's the best part, just seeing everybody in their natural element, just hanging out.
Mm-hmm. What about you two boys, Jeff, Mongo?
Go ahead, Mongo.
I was actually going to say my first one probably involves Jeff recently on Cruise 5. Hey, with Dante, Action, just like talking to them. And then Jeff just going, chop me. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this. And I just remember sitting there and I was like, little kid's cool because Jeff got shot by Dante Martin and Dante laid it in and Jeff just like leaned into it. Dante's like, all right. Like, I think just getting to see them like out of their gimmick and more just the person, that's what I enjoy too. Like the I don't want to say mask is a horrible term, but like, you know, the curtain gets pulled back and you get to see the person behind the persona and you get those kind of connections. I like just those little moments. You're like, oh my God, that was so cool. But that's probably my most recent one. Or I talked about this last night, but too, Vincent complimenting my hair. He was like, dude, I love your hair. Because I had it shaved on the side and pulled back. And I was like, but you got cool ass hair. So like, I don't know if you're just being nice or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is cool hair to cool hair. Cool recognizes cool. Yeah. And you know, I have yet to take a chop anywhere.
We'll have to solve that problem. And that's real easy.
Alex is like
the only one in
what
Mongo video that Cam has not chopped, I believe.
Well, we're gonna have to solve that. Cam can get you next year. For sure.
Well, that's the problem. He's got 21 months. I'm starting to get scared of this kid. It's going to be Benoit. Like, it's going to be, he's going to be straight up Scott Norton.
Walter too. Yeah.
Walter. Jeff, what about you? And then we'll get Alex all caught up here.
All right. Well, welcome back, Alex. Glad to see it's working again. But yeah, that moment, like Mongo was talking about, you know, the Outrunners last year for me, getting to talk to them and everything else. Cause, you know, I feel like I was definitely one of the people that knew about them first. So it was really awesome to get that moment, you know. I think actually Emily was with me and got to hang out with them and enjoy some beverages and just shoot the breeze and all of that. Like Josh talked about as well. Last year, Action Andretti and his girlfriend were kind of like our summer camp friends. We just stumbled into him the first day and just kind of hit it off. And, you know, some moments like that got to help his girlfriend enjoy the cruise more because she really didn't know wrestling. You know, she didn't know a lot of the people there. So we got her to come out to a show with us right there, you know, on the pool deck and just having those types of experiences. Obviously, Will Ospreay a lot on Cruise 3. And then this cruise, he was everywhere. I'd say him and Nick Wayne, you know, Harley was awesome, Big Bill, you know, and they were everywhere kind of doing everything too, for the most part. And then Darby Allin on Cruise 2 was a huge one with Cam when he came over right before the Dynamite taping. I mean, how do you set up not coming back to cruises when that's one of the things in your very first one? You're like, oh my gosh, that's just a ridiculous moment. You know, how the hell how am I here for this? So
yeah, I mean, we've mentioned Cam, and he pops up in a lot of these things because he's been on a lot of the cruises. We've talked about Spencer in his first one. We talked about Izzy. It's something real special when you bring the kids and they get that interaction too, right? Like, it's just,
well, and like we talked about with the Cruise family too, you know, we're all looking out for each other. Kids can be going back and forth to the groups and stuff and hanging out with the, you know, everybody because you know somebody's looking out and going to have their back if they needed anything or whatever. You know what I mean? We experienced this firsthand. So
yeah, and you know, not to name names or anything, but you know, there's some creepy folks on there, and unfortunately for me, I have daughters that are not hard to look at. That sounds creepy as shit too, but
I know what you're saying.
It's nerve-wracking, right?
Yes.
And just there were points where I'm like, okay, where's this kid? No, Jeff and Mongo are over there. Jason's over there. No, Alex and Jill are over there. Now we're cool. And they know who we know, so they know who's safe for the most part, you know. It's just it's good because I know there was one point where I was about to get up and follow a kid because I didn't like the direction he was going, and as I stood my ass up, it's like, oh, no need. Mongo and Jeff are standing right there and have put a giant wall and nope in between that. So that's fantastic. And I can't, and I love all you guys for doing that. Like the five of you, you know, Jill, Linda, and everybody else in the group, the Ohio boys were all really, really good about keeping an eye out. You know, 16-year-old daughters that don't carry themselves like 16-year-old daughters are fucking stressful. And I'm on my third.
Right.
Alex, we're talking about encounters here. So we started with elevator roulette. I had a cool one with Tony and Juice and Sarah. It was just for us an elevator. But any cool cruise encounters you had this cruise that you want to give a shout out to these talent for doing?
I mean, Jill and I trolled MVP because we were in the elevator and the door opened and he tripped into our elevator. And I'm like, oh, so that's why you keep that cane around. He's like, yeah, I needed it right there, buddy.
That's a good one.
Very cool on cruise too. So he's with Lashley right behind him.
No, it was just him.
That would be why you tried to troll.
Yep, absolutely. No, 100%.
Yeah,
he's like, I would do that with Lashley there.
If Bobby was there, I would have said I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I got into a 2-floor ride with those two, and I just going, holy shit, this is a big man, as far as Lashley goes. But yeah, it's good humor. What about other than that? Anybody else this cruise or any notables from times past?
Oh man.
Well, we did the deck war because me and Jill got all up in our blue stuff and everything, and there were a few talent that actually participated in the deck war with us, and we learned that luckily the Outrunners were on our color. So the Outrunners were on our team, and so they're just like, hey, we heard there's Jello shots. And we're like, yep, let's go, let's do some. So we did some Jello shots with the Outrunners. Jill got to put glow sticks on their biceps. It was a good time.
Hell yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, the Outrunners are fast becoming cruise MVPs. I mean, they may be the new SCU of this cruise. Like, we can't have a cruise without the SCU. Granted, we've been down a member for quite a while. I honestly don't know what's happened to him, but we always have Daniels, we always have Kazarian. So that was cool.
Matt, his name is the Masked Brother. Okay.
They're not the same person, dude. You need to
No,
put
it's just
away
like
the
Curry
tinfoil
Man.
hat. Like
We
come
saw
on.
already. They disproved Curry Man. It's not
They
Christopher
did.
Daniels.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? We're gonna get into the retirement tour thing in a few minutes here, but I want to hit on events. Is there any particular event you want to give a nice shout out to? It's like, you know what, this event was like really a highlight for me. I'm gonna take wrestling off the table for right now.
I agree.
The ad libs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. 100%.
I'm guessing Harley Cameron was extremely intoxicated, but she was funny as shit.
Uh-huh.
Everybody, it was off the cuff trying, you saw their talent for, being, who they are and just, ad-libbing, coming up with things. And, you could see who really has it and who kind of doesn't. But that was really entertaining for me.
Yep, Gemma agrees with you. I don't have an argument against it. That's for sure. I mean, it was great last year, and I think it was thrown together. Harley was just killed it last year and was booed out of the building because that was her character at the time. But this year, she really came into her own. Her and I believe it was Turbo were the last ones, and they were doing vinegar shots right at the end, just like fuck it, and just like, I hope they're kayfabing them vinegar shots because they're just
Tony Storm.
It was Tony and Turbo at the
right,
end.
Tony. That's right. I was not doing vinegar shots. Mongo, what about you?
Yeah, I think also Jay Washington and Nick Nemeth, seeing them do stand-up was good. Jay Washington was a freaking riot, and he said the quiet part out loud for most of us, especially when he was talking about the cruise bathrooms. He's like, I had to cha-cha slide in there to take a crap. Like, that is so true, because sometimes you get them small-ass interior rooms, you're like, I'm going to use the one in the hallway to pee.
Yeah. I mean, and
the magic show.
I'd like to say I'm medium sized, but I mean, there's some bigger boys on that boat, and I'm like, whoa, son. Now I was also told, because I had we had 2 cabins with an adjoining door, and I was told, no, you take that upstairs. You out with that. I'm like, fine.
All right.
Mongo say the whatchamacallit, the magic show? Is that what you said?
That's what I was going to throw out too. Nigel's magic show.
Yeah.
I did not have a good seat for that.
And Chris's awkward announcement timing, the whole room is everyone had their heart ripped out because of this video, and he's talking. It's a somber moment.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Couldn't play that.
Hey guys, your captain here. And you're like, aw.
You gotta be shitting me.
Even now, just motherfucker.
I heard good things about the Nemeth and Jay Washington show. Unfortunately, Spencer was tired, so I took him back to the room to get him to bed. I was expecting somebody to come and tag me out. I blinked and I lost 2.5 hours that night. I rallied, I recovered, I made it back upstairs, but I missed that whole thing. So I regret missing that one. Okay, Jeff, you're gonna go with Magic Show. Anything else? Or you just want to?
No, I was gonna go. The RJ City ad libs was awesome. Like you said, the Mongo show he was talking about there, the Magic Show, of course, I thought was great. We Are Wasted and Downstate, I thought were awesome too. Those were really good shows. Getting to see those. Trying to think of anything else that was stand out. But I would say those 4 things, I guess, would be my standouts. Yep. There was others, of course, but
nice. Alex, what about you?
I'm gonna echo the ad libs. That was fantastic. I had a blast. Jay Washington was by far the funniest comic I've seen on the cruise. For me, I found him at the casino after the show, and I told him, man, you have to come back. That was the most relatable, the funniest thing I've heard in a while. And then I'll chalk up Nocturnal Affair. I love seeing those guys. We're friends, and they put up a pretty cool show. So
awesome.
Nocturnal Affair for me.
Yep. I mean, the Wasted Boys, and I'm acquaintances with them. They're good dudes off screen as well. I don't know if anybody's been following their socials, but they did do a little music video at Port for their cover of the Backstreet Boys. I recommend following these guys because they're a good time. So I'm in their chat here. We have Sarah says the open mic needs to stay. I thought that
Gemma
was
called you out,
a
too.
pretty sweet idea. Our buddy Des lobbied Chris Jericho for this, and he made it happen. It was I didn't stay for the entire thing. Gemma's echoing that the open mic was good. I don't know if it was my favorite thing, but I did it. The video has been up for about a week now. I figured I'm gonna make sure that there's at least a list of names that Dez's idea has a little bit of traction, because it is good, because we do have a lot of talented people that are on the cruise. I mean, there are a lot of indie wrestlers. I mean, the BRCW crew is usually they go right from their show to the boat, but there's a lot of talented, funny people and singers out there, and I signed up for it, and I figured, you know what, I waffled on it. I almost skipped it, and I was told, nope, you're doing it. Get down there. We're not fucking around with you. So I walked down. Several people were upset that I didn't make a bigger deal out of it. Our friend Val threatened to smash me in her head with her crutch because I didn't say anything. I mentioned it to Jason in passing on my way down. I did not clarify. He's like, you didn't tell me. It's like, I told you before I turned down the stairs. You didn't say you were doing it. I'm like, yeah, cool.
That's fair.
So there's 6.5 minutes of me doing stand up. I figured, you know what, comes down to it, I'm gonna know how Hulk Hogan feels. I don't know if it's Hulk Hogan 1985 or Hulk Hogan 2025, but we're gonna find out in about 5 minutes. I did not get to that joke in the set because I had a bunch of stuff in my head. I think the only downside was Clinton Shorter was the second comedian up. Clinton is a professional comedian. And he was on right before Dez, and he went up, he did his thing. This is what it is for. We have talented people on board, so let's highlight it. It's cool. It's just Dez looked at me at one point because I was standing over next to the cigar bar on the side of the stage next to him, just, supporting my boy. And he looked at me and he goes, I got to follow this. And I'm like, yeah, you do. You got this. You got this. Back in my mind, better you than me. But I was only, I think, one after Dez. So, let me tell you something. When you open up with a hot act and you follow it with another good one, and I know exactly what the lingerie pillow fight matches at WrestleMania felt like. It's just like, this is our popcorn match, buddy. We're not expecting much out of you. Just kill 6 minutes, will you? So yeah, it was the open mic, I think, should stay. I mean, I missed a lot of cool stuff. The belly flop contest, I missed part of that. Mongo, yeah, you missed that one too, didn't you, buddy?
No, I put that in my survey about the signups, because I got there right as they closed signups, and they're like, well, you guys said half an hour before, and I got there exactly half an hour before, but they closed them because people got there too early. So I was a little annoyed about that because I pretty much ran out of the autograph session early, so I could try to go do that. Like, damn it. But so I didn't get to try, but thankfully my turn in line would have been right before, right after Ricochet. So I'm not following up fucking Ricochet.
Well, yeah. So you know exactly what I'm saying about Dez
following up Clinton. I'm not following up Rick. Oh, cool. He just did a shooting star press into the pool. Hey guys, look, a fat guy going to belly hop. Yay.
No. Bullfrog splash. Bullfrog splash.
There you go.
I wanted to add in Harley Cameron's concert was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That was fun.
Harley is so fucking talented. It is
all trades.
Unfair to the rest of humanity that she has all of this talent. I mean, I guess the wrapping paper's not that good, but for fuck's sakes, I mean, save some talent and save some positives for the rest of us. You know what I mean? Holy, unbelievable.
She's an entertainer first. I mean, she's an entertainer that got into wrestling. So it's not like she was a wrestler first. So yeah, she's uber talented. We were passing by during the concert, and I couldn't believe her voice. And then she did a song with Jericho on the covers. I don't remember what it was.
Hate myself for loving you.
There you go.
Yep.
Super
Yeah,
talented.
because her set overlap. I only saw the first half because it overlapped the open mic, and when I walked by the open mic on the way to Harley's set, there was nobody down there, which sort of leaned to me. I was like, you know what? I'm at least going to be able to say, hey man, I put my name in for your idea. Turned out to be one of the bigger shows ever downstairs. But yeah, Harley, I regretted. I almost used that as an excuse not to go because but I was told I wasn't allowed to chicken out, so I didn't. But yeah, Harley. And let's be honest here, if AEW's smart, they can print merch money with the puppets. New
what?
opponent,
Puppets.
new
Mini
feud,
Monet,
new
like I was
puppet.
saying.
Answer.
Yeah, it just printing
You wanna
money
say
like
hi?
Rey Mysterio's masks. Like,
Say hi.
absolutely, sign me up, take my money. Oh, here's
Rachel
Rachel.
says hi.
What's going on, my dear? How are you?
It said, "How are you?"
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing fantastic out here all across the country.
That's good. I'm watching the movie, so
All right,
I'm having loads of fun.
fantastic.
Here you go.
So we're a little over halfway in here, and I do want to get to some current events and stuff that we did sort of miss on the cruise. But did anybody bring back anything cool? Merch store side, any cool souvenirs they brought back from the trip? Because I mean, my wife was explaining to her mom and her youngest sister yesterday
See what it is.
how the trinkets go, and they both freaked out. It's like, oh, it's like Girl Guide camp. It's like Taylor Swift concerts. I'm like, no, because we're just bringing stuff, and yeah, that's what they do. Like, oh god damn it, we're like Girl Guides, and fuck it, we are. We had a bag full of just random trinkets, stickers, doodads. I mean, we had a 5-pound bag of beaded dogs that my wife had origamied together that ended up all over the boat, including one got thrown into the ring by somebody who may or may not be Spencer. But I mean, Mongo, you had stickers you were handing out. Jeff, you were really generous with your tattoos. So it was
and we did the mental health awareness bracelets too.
Yep, and the mental health awareness bracelets. I know by the time we got to our Chris Jericho photo, the boys from Ohio were just in front of us, and Chris had his undone bracelet on in our photo.
Nice.
So we had those going as well. We have one person brought back a nasty sinus infection. Not the only one, my friend. Thanks for joining the show.
So Jeremy's the one who shared with us. Thanks, Jeremy. No, I'm just kidding.
Jeremy, there we go. Thank you so much. So any cool little trinkets that you guys came back with that were notable?
Rob Nero gave us a little surfboard with like stickers. I thought those were cool because Nikki just happened to give me a random one that says my personality is I only talk about wrestling. I'm like, gee, this is ironic.
I got you that good ADHD sticker from Matt and Amanda from Wisconsin, so that was cool.
Yep, got it right on the bottle.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, some the ducks and stickers and all of that. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw those. Rachel actually brought one of her own that she had previously, the little middle fingers.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that was my wife there. Jason, Alex, anything cool?
I don't really collect trinkets. No offense.
No, that's fine. I don't either. I just ended up with a giant bag of them in my room.
I like the
I heard you ended
bracelet.
up with something else in your bag too.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Well, you know what? I did collect. Funny.
Does Alex know?
That. Yes, I don't know what I did with it, but I do have.
You still have it?
I did get a signed Lance Archer that my daughter brought up to me. Do I
nice.
have the souvenir from Ohio? I don't
Can you
know.
ship? Nice.
It's
nice,
somewhere.
and that's subtle too.
All the way back there.
That's subtle too, though. Actually, I would say one of my favorite things that I get trinket wise, I don't really like, kind of like Jason, I'm not big into a lot of that stuff. Certain people give me ducks and different trinkets. I obviously want them because they're my friends or, other things like that. But I really like the bracelets everybody makes. Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, I like the bracelets that everybody makes and the different little trinkets they'll kind of have on there. I know Emily Gordon does the little ones with the anchors. I like those. I know other Emily does, a bunch of them too, Outrunners and a Tony Storm and, different stuff like that. So I always, the Undone bracelet from Brian, We Are Wasted one, I really
Mhm.
kind of like those, even though I can't wear the stretchy ones very good because I got fat wrists. So
Yeah, I find the stretchy ones are a little tight on my own wrists. But yeah, no, it's cool to get all this stuff. It's it's reminders of people. Mary brought a bunch of little anchors with 6s on them, which turned out to be very fortuitous because they fucked us 6-timers on our own colored lanyard this year. So I had that little 6 that I was able to attach to my lanyard as well, and then on the way out the door, they had extra lanyards. So Caitlin and I both grabbed white ones.
so you can
do 1
5+1.
That was exactly our thought there. So that was cool. All right, let's move on to some current events here. We missed a bunch of stuff because we were on the boat. Now I missed a lot of stuff because I was just not taking time to watch TV when I was hanging out in Miami and doing stuff. It was more by the pool. Mongo, Jeff, you know what it's like at the Ramada at Old Tom's. You just sit there and you lose a day. I mean, sure, it's broken up because you can't hear anything about once a half hour as a plane takes off across the road, but you lose the whole day just sitting there.
Mhm.
I caught a couple of entry spoilers. I didn't catch a spoiler on the Royal Rumble winners at all, which told me, and I wasn't trying. Like, I gave up trying this year. It's just like, it's going to be what it's going to be. Nothing came through my feed at all at any point in
all the people eating on the boat didn't.
I was gonna say I heard
That gave it away to me.
I heard a few entrants when I was eating the one time because 3 guys were sitting there just huddled over their phones. So I heard a few men's entrants, and then I know Fun Time Tony was sitting there watching certain things. So I think I only had one winner. I think I only had one winner of any match spoiled for me. So
I
that
knew
wasn't too
Charlotte
bad.
Flair because Brian and the guys, and
That's what I mean. So I heard the one, but then I didn't really find out much till later, and then I was able to watch it. So it really wasn't too bad. I mean, I can handle some spoilers.
And then, like Alex said, everyone, like from Garcia to everyone else, just yeeting around the boat. I'm like, oh, he must have won the Rumble.
Yeah, that was kind of more of that one for me too. Yep.
I am so used to talking to Jamal and a few other people. It didn't even occur to me. It went right over my head. I was like, oh shit. In the last, I think 3 entrants, I'm like, oh shit. Is he? They did. So I mean, I thought that was cool, but normally it's like it's just ruined for me and I lose that sense of anticipation. But I think the bigger spoilers were the Hall of Fame announcements. I thought they did really well with surprising the 2 current WWE Hall of Famers. Everybody up to speed on this, Jason?
No, actually, I'm behind on that one. So
at I believe it was some sort of board meeting or press conference. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker showed up and interrupted Triple H's speech to tell him he was going into the Hall of Fame. And they somehow managed to get to it from across the country in various places and not give a hint or a clue to either Triple H or Stephanie that they were in town, let alone what they were about to do.
They're doing it like the NFL now knows, Jeff, where they have like almost like a person say, hey, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I got you. See, now I've seen the recent NFL ones, but
like Barber and his brother. Yeah. Like it was almost like they're mirroring how that goes.
Oh, that's cool.
And I thought that was a cool way to do it. And then Triple H paid The Undertaker back because he surprised The Undertaker and Michelle McCool. I think it was on an episode of the podcast or some show ESPN. Michelle does. ESPN?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Triple H got him back and said, oh, by the way, Michelle, you're going into the Hall of Fame. Thoughts on these 2 as Hall of Famers, boys? Jason, you've been quiet. Your screen looks frozen. What's going on?
Hey, I'm just having some courtesy for the other panel members. Jeez.
That's very unlike you. You must still be sick.
A little bit. No, I mean, come on, Triple H. That's a no-brainer. Michelle McCool, yeah, she deserves it. Why not? I mean, the whole what was it, Lake Cool thing, and
Yep.
being badass bitch, and kind of bullying poor Mickey James. I remember that storyline. Yeah, of course, and of course, being married to the Undertaker doesn't hurt. So yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of haters out there that just want to. It's like, oh well, it's because she's married to the Undertaker, or it's because he's in charge of the company. It's like, fuck off. Look at these guys' careers. Look at the only
Body
thing you
work.
can really say negatively is Michelle's career wasn't comparatively as long. I mean, she's probably still had some more legs on that career if she had wanted to, because boy, howdy, does she have legs. But why does it have to be always I married this person so I get to do this? Well, no, look at the body of work. Nepotism doesn't apply to pro wrestling as much as everybody thinks, because if that was the case, Scott Putski would be a world champion.
There could be a lot of them.
Right?
That argument always never makes sense, because the entire history of wrestling is nepotism. It's people who just kept their tradition going in family.
Yeah,
I mean, David Sammartino, going back a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to talk about not having nepotism.
Right. No, yeah. Sometimes the talent just doesn't, unfortunately, does not transfer. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always a silly argument, like, oh, they're only going to work there because of their wife. It's like, do you only take a job because your spouse works there? Like, I've never understood that argument.
Business is still real life.
Yep.
Yeah, there's you can get the foot in the door all you want. Not everybody's going to be able to take advantage to it. I mentioned Scott Putski. You mentioned David Sammartino, Jason. David Flair had a big foot in the door. It doesn't fucking work
Scott
every time.
Son, he's kind of just stayed in Japan forever. I mean, didn't get the best reputation. Maybe Scott Hall, you think he would be instant signing with anyone, but he's kind of persona non grata for everyone.
Yeah, and David Finley's over there as well, and Fit Finley's kid. I mean, Dominic Mysterio, he didn't look like he was going to survive too long after the novelty. He found a spot. He's
found his niche.
Nobody can tell me that he hasn't earned his contract. Is he Ray in the ring? No, not yet. Maybe never will be. But did he find his spot, especially for a primarily entertainment-focused company? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Just like Vicky Guerrero did. You can come out and get booed out of the building. And sometimes that's all you need. Alex, you've been quiet. What do you think about these two?
I mean, Triple H, obviously. Like, I was shook that, I forgot, and then I remembered that, like, he's by himself not in it, but he's already in there twice. So, I mean, yes, absolutely. He's totally worth it. I mean, Michelle McCool, I have arguments for both sides, but, like, you know what? She was, I think, one of the bridge women of, like, taking it from the divas to the women's feel of, like, yeah, she was a diva. Yeah, she was great to look at, but then she got in there and she was slamming people around. She was doing stuff, not just hair pulls and slaps or whatever. So I think she was pivotal in getting the divas out of the divas division.
Well, no,
it was that evolution. That evolution or revolution period or whatever you'd like to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a tough period to be in as a female talent, because they are in that transition. We are seeing ladies that had the ability to close a show. Like, this is the Lita and the Trish era had been just ended, and those two were out there. It was pillow fights and lingerie stuff. And you can go back a little further and you can talk about the ladies like Ivory and Miss Jackie that were stuck doing that, but they were carrying division. I mean, look at Natty Neidhart now. She's that player coach role, clearly. But that era right before the Four Horsewomen, right before that NXT era of, they can go, came up. Like, I think Michelle probably wouldn't have an argument against her if she had put in another couple of years. That's not to say that she couldn't come back and have a run like Trish and Lita have either.
I think
I'd be
too,
cool with that.
to play devil's advocate, I think some people, like, I'm not saying she shouldn't be, but I think some people are more because you have people like Victoria still not in the Hall of Fame, Mickey James, Gail Kim.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's because it's like everything people always say, but this person's not in. I'm still going to be an advocate. Bam Bam Bigelow should be in that fucking Hall of Fame. I don't understand why he's not. So there's always going to be people that I'm passionate for, and I think that's what it is. You have those other fan bases like AJ Lee, how come they're not in the Hall of Fame yet? And it's like everything. It's another political thing, so people are going to be happy either way. But I don't think they're going to put people in there who they don't think the fans would majorly agree with. Like, I mean, Michelle McCool's going to get a great reception. Like you said, she had fun moments. And Triple H was, definitely that glue that kind of helped keep WWE running when The Rock and Stone Cold both kind of left for different reasons. He was like, all right, I guess I got to step up now. And he did.
Yeah. I mean, he absolutely did. Those two left. Taker was sort of in and out between injuries and, getting his character reform. And plus, he was at that, I don't need to work every show anymore. And so, like, Triple H and The Undertaker really bridged that gap, and Triple H even more so, because he was also at that point really learning the behind the scenes thing. There's no argument against Triple H that is fucking valid as far as I'm concerned.
Nope,
period.
I agree.
End of sentence. All right. Well, while we're on it, you mentioned Bam Bam. We haven't seen the class yet. The full class. There's rumors that Demolition has settled their legal paperwork and is under. It was announced that they're under a Legends contract, so I mean that's a good possibility. And both these guys had careers before the WWE as Demolition, and to a degree afterwards. Because I mean, who doesn't remember the phenomenal late '90s run of Hole in One Darso? Because that was just fantastic. I was trying to get Mongo to snort that drink out of his nose, but I just missed. But I have no problem with Demolition going in there, but I think the thing that a lot of fans miss is we don't know what's going on backstage either. It could be a political, no, they're not ready, or it could be something like they're currently suing us, we can't do this, or it could be something as simple as they've declined it.
Right.
They said, nope, I don't like, because there's a lot of people out there that have said, like, San Martino should have been in ages ago, but Triple H had to work years to get him to say yes. You can offer it all you want, but if these people don't like the company, if these people don't like the boss, or they have some sort of beef with any executive or talent, and they don't want to be involved, they're going to say no, and the fans are going to flip out. We're sitting here, like, Bam Bam, to me, is very much a family decision. Remember how Lanny Poffo put Randy Savage's? It's like, I'm the older brother now. I get to say that this is happening. Randy doesn't have a choice. This is for Randy's legacy. This is for Randy's fans. I'm the older brother. This is happening. And that's, unfortunately, we don't get to see guys like Vader and Bam Bam give their acceptance speech, which they deserved. But maybe Bam Bam turned it down. His family can go and fix that. And let's hope they do. It's that this is what it is. We can cheap seat book all we want, but we do not have the backstage access to know why. We may never know until somebody writes a book, or until, the family member says, hey, he always hated, he wasn't going back to work for Vince for anything, no matter what. Tony Schiavone is on record repeatedly saying he would turn it down. I think everybody thinks he's full of shit. He just will turn it down as long as he's working for AEW. But, that's
Jericho
just
says the same thing. He ain't turning it down.
Nobody's going to turn it down. That is not under a paperwork that's going to prevent it. And we don't know what their paperwork says. Do I think any responsible company would go, yes, you may go and do this for a night? There's always the risk of a conversation that involves, when's that contract of yours up? Well, I'm just going to leave my phone number right here just in case you want to have a coffee down the road. I think that's one of the reasons why some companies get nervous about sending talent to the Jericho cruise, because then all of a sudden we have, even if it's a spouse, right? Like, we don't see Buddy Murphy getting on board and bringing his girlfriend with him.
Boo.
Right? Which we would all be very happy for, even unadvertised, but that puts these people in a position where they're going to be sitting down at the steakhouse chatting with Christopher Daniels. You know what I mean? So it's awkward. So let's get into the Hall of Fame here a little bit. So we got Bam Bam from Mongo. Who do you want to see come in to the Hall of Fame this year on top of that? Alex, you got your eyes lit up.
No, that's because I'm blanking. I don't know. I need a moment to think about it.
All right, Jeff, what about you?
I like the Bam Bam one. I was a fan of his when I was a
Mhm.
kid, so I would really love to see that one. Or like you were talking about with Vader.
Yep. Jason?
Yeah, off the top of my head, King Kong Bundy.
Mhm.
Ivan
there you go.
Koloff. Ivan Koloff. It's crime he's not in, and another crime, which I'm guessing it was her decision, but Cyndi Lauper. I mean that, bridging the gap between wrestling back in the smoky
Mhm.
halls and
Mhm.
high school gyms to mainstream MTV. I mean, if there's any celebrity that should be in the Hall of Fame, it is Cyndi Lauper. And why she's not in, I have no idea.
I thought she was the 1 year going to get in, and then they didn't. Because I was like you, she definitely was that bridge from that rock and
She should have
wrestling.
gone in the same year as Wendy Richter.
Yeah, they were a big part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T. Those were the names that helped build WrestleMania for the mainstream audience. Like, you can't deny that. And it's one of those ones, like, I'm sitting here, you said it, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure she's in. She's not.
I thought so too, and it's like, because I knew they tried the 1 year to get Cindy in there, I thought, and then I guess it just didn't happen. But
yeah, and the celebrity wing, I think, is shit on a little too much. Now, granted, sometimes the celebrities are a little bit of a stretch. I don't think we need one every year, but we can't deny that these celebrity Motorhead should have a slot. Like, honestly, Downstate has put out how many themes?
yeah,
Like, they maybe not right away because they still got some legs on their career yet, but why aren't we getting the bands that have done this?
Jim Johnston.
Jim Johnson.
That's who I was going to say.
Yeah.
Jim Johnston should definitely. He's got some of the best theme songs of all time.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, when you look back at these theme songs, it's stuck in our head for decades. It's either Jim Johnston or Jimmy Hart. Like, that's what it is. Yeah, and he's retired. He's got, from what I understand, still on decent terms with the company. He just was like, no, I'm done working now. Which is fair. I mean, more power to him. I may never get there myself, but that's because my job is dangerous. And I think that when we start looking back at some of these, like we're talking King Kong Bundy and Ivan Koloff, they do this legacy thing, and the years are ticking away. Ivan Koloff might just be one of those guys. It's like, yeah, I mean, here's our legacy. Here's our 5 legacies that we're just going to show you the quick video package of. And that's a shame, because Koloff held it together for the 70s. He was a draw. He was in there against San Martino. He was down there, throughout the 80s, being one of the big heels for Crockett Promotions in the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cannot deny that whatsoever.
Midnight Express. That's another one.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a good one.
That's a crime.
Yep. Jim Cornette, I don't think he's in either.
No.
However, I can understand 100% why anybody would be reluctant to give him a live microphone. I mean, that at the same time.
So his speech has been pre-recorded and edited.
Yep, it would happen.
And we apologize.
Oh yeah,
Right.
If they bleep it out, it's going to sound like R2D2 reading Shakespeare. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. New regime. Vince isn't in charge. Handpicking who should go in. Triple H is definitely more of the history side of wrestling, and more forgiving, and I think is willing to give people like Cornette a platform to maybe obviously not say whatever he wants, but I think you'll see in the next few years that whoever was denied in the past maybe gets a nod.
Yeah, and another thing that pops into mind is there's people that want to look at that list and go, why is so and so in the Hall of Fame? And the one that always comes up, why is Coco Beware in the Hall of Fame? Here's why. Because in 2025, if I say the name Coco Beware, you can picture him. It is not the Hall of Champions. It is the Hall of Fame. You know exactly who I mean when I say Coco Beware. You picture the jackets, you picture the Pit Viper sunglasses, and you picture the bird.
Matt's still mad he wasn't on the boat.
Oh,
I just wanted the bird.
You just wanted the bird.
I
wanted the bird.
He was at the
There were
port.
birds at the port.
Yeah.
Wrong bird. Not my hashtag.
No,
not my
it was
bird.
Frankie.
Not my Frankie.
Not. Yeah, that's right.
You know what? You keep that hashtag not my bird for the next time the Seahawks make the fucking playoffs, okay?
I'm not a Seahawks fan.
They're
No,
probably going to
you're
be
not
social
either.
media next time they make it.
I can just see all the Philly fans. Not my bird.
Not my bird.
Well, you know who you haven't mentioned, Matt, and I think, again, on a new regime, and obviously, I think has had a barrier. China should go in solo. I still don't. I mean, her sister's always been willing to do it. They did the D-Generation X one in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I think she should go in solo. I mean, you want to talk about kind of opening the doors and kind of elevating. I mean, her coming in, being relatively unknown, and someone like Sable can be in with her to be like, China can be in. And I get that they're worried about her checker pass. Oh, you can Google it, but really, you can Google Sunny and get a lot worse. So I think
Google a lot of people and get a lot worse.
X-Pac's in.
Yeah.
X-Pac was in the same short
Incident.
documentary, shall we call it?
Yes.
Short documentary. And yeah, let's be honest here. Endeavor is steering away from kids. I mean, we've gone over this a million times in our private conversations between ourselves. We've done it a million times on both this show and Cruising with Kayfabe. The ticket prices are not meant for families. So why are they worried about people Googling China?
Especially they can Google other things and still get the same results. You can be innocuous word. Like just Google this word and you're like, oh damn.
Well, and how many, wrestlers were synonymous with Playboy for WWE? I mean, it was one of the things, honestly, for a little while, if I felt like if they were any kind of television time, they were on Playboy.
Yep.
You could go definitely see them in one of the Playboy magazines.
The yearly post-WrestleMania issue.
That's what I mean. Like it just seemed like everything was Playboy oriented. So why is it just because, her act is a little bit different? Is it any different? I mean,
yeah.
You're still seeing all they got to offer.
Particular book, yeah.
I mean, you're still seeing pretty much everything they got to offer. So there's no more illusion there either. They're out there in their gear, and you already know what it looks like. So, what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no reason for China not to be in. There's no valid argument.
Eighth wonder of the world,
and that's long overdue. I mean, when we look at some of these people, sure, again, as I said, we don't know all the bells and whistles, but new regime, and with the head of that new regime, I can understand a little bit where it might cause him to sleep on the couch a little bit.
Right.
But at the same time, let's be reasonable. There are women in the business today that have modeled their career after the way China did. China came in and, it was a very different breed of female competitor at the time. She was bigger. She was more muscular. Say what you want. We were not very kind to her in the 90s. We used some things that we do not use anymore. But I mean, it bred a Beth Phoenix as a model. It's bred a Jordan Grace as a model.
Megan Bain reminds me a little bit of her.
Yes.
The way her mannerisms of that, just
the presentation.
I'm a bad motherfucker. You're like, you want to fuck with me? Here we go. Like she kind of has that strut and walk and, like he says, just aura about her. So
yeah, I can't come up with an argument against China at all. And I don't think anybody has a valid one that cannot be countered with. It's no longer a kid's product. That's all there is to it. Anybody that remembers her that is her in-ring work, is old enough to have done it and found it already, like Mongo said. I've seen short documentaries on her and Sunny, and there's a few others out there. I believe Major Guns from WCW was found a career there, and then back in the ECW days, there was talent coming the other way. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Jasmine St. Clair went from that world. Yeah,
all he knew.
Well, there's, and I can't remember her name. There is a current female talent on the indie circuit that is struggling to find bookings, or was at one point, because she has left that world and gone into this one. And just one with it. I mean, you get out, just say, yeah, did it, cool. What else you got? There's no point denying it. There's no point in dodging around. It's like, hey, did you do this? Yep. Well, hey, fuck, I got nothing else to say. You just agreed with me.
Yeah, because it paid the bills.
Yep.
Mickey James.
Yes.
Dawn Marie, when she came in, she was on Skinemax for the longest time. No shame in it. It is what it is. Those double standards always just kill me. It's just because they pick and choose who to have those standards on. That's what I think it is. It's the pick and choosing. It's like either have it set. This is how it is for everyone. It's like Baseball Hall of Fame. Not to go out. It's like the same kind of concept of we'll let this controversy slide on this person, but this other person, hell no.
Right.
I mean,
Aaron Terrell, there's a shitload of them that have done different stuff, whether it be
let's
or
not
videos
just
or
limit
whatever.
Let's not just limit it to the ladies. Xavier Woods is still being paid by WWE.
They hired Lars Sullivan at one point.
Yeah. He is right back to himself into a hole. He was on my list of things to get into because he stuck his head up and that's one of those things where everybody saw he had a lot of potential. He was doing really well. Nobody really knew what happened. It's like, it's anxiety and a touch of other things.
Yeah.
May not be the most pleasant person to have a discussion with at a bar. It's like, okay. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? We're just a little over an hour here. We should get on with our day. I think we've covered a lot of stuff, aside from the fact that we're all a little bit jonesing to be back on a certain boat, and we have 90 and a half months. Weeks. Sorry, 90 weeks.
No numbers. It makes it seem longer.
Here's the thing. We sail on the 7th. I turned 49 on the 3rd. So we're going to be doing more than one birthday party.
There's a lot of birthday parties, I think, going to be happening on this one.
Yeah, that means a lot of people's fathers did really well on Valentine's Day in a boat.
That checks out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
No math. Yeah.
No, we're not going to do too much math here. Other than it was fantastic to see you guys all in person. I had you guys all in the same place. I had a bunch of our guests all in the same place. There's one guest that in particular, I am going to start hounding to not only get back on the show, but he's got a lot more time to save to come to this cruise. He wants to come. He's just having issues. Well, now he's got time. Thank you, boys. It was so good hanging out with you guys for anywhere between a week and 5 days. Jason, you're just down the road. We're gonna have to come down and see you, unless they put dogs on the invisible line up the block. I don't know what's going on there.
They're gonna charge you a tariff, by the way, to come over the border. So,
I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to get into it here. It's just I just want to go down and watch the rest of my friends.
On speaking French and just walk away.
Careful with that French thing. I'm on the wrong side of the country. I'm on the correct side of the country. we had a little bit of an issue last night when Emily kind of forgot that Toronto is not that close to BC.
She also had worked at 5 a.m., hadn't really gone to sleep yet. And she was getting
That's fine. We still love her. We're just fighting for a little bit. That's fine. It's cool.
It's a pleasure to see all of you again. Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Nice seeing you guys. Thank you so much for indulging me as always. we'll be back. I have a bunch of people that found out about this on the boat that want to come and join us. So we'll be mixing things up in the future. Please remember, check out Cruising with Kayfabe. He's done a fantastic video on our journey. Look that up on YouTube. It's Cruising with Kayfabe on YouTube. Mongo, you want to plug that?
Yep, at Cruising with Kayfabe on YouTube. There's even a playlist. All of the Jericho Cruise videos are in there. So just go right in that playlist. Find them all easy.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what we're talking about. But as you will note, if you've seen my set from the stand-up, you cannot tell, explain, or show anybody anything about this cruise unless they've been on the boat, and that's when they'll get it.
Oh yeah.
No matter how cool it looks, no matter how awesome the stories are, no matter how fun it seems, until you have your flip-flops on that deck, you don't know. Thank you, gentlemen.
100%.
I appreciate you all. We will be in touch. And thank you all for listening. Remember, follow Cruising with Kayfabe, follow Cheap Seat Booking and the At the In Studios page for more. And also check out Savage Sailor Apparel because they got some badass designs. They really do.
I saw a few of them. They were cool.
Yeah, they really are. And they are good folks doing it. So, and finally, go Boyds.
Go Boyds.